This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
Here we go, the Perth Wildcats taking on the New Zealand Breakers. The Breakers just coming off a win, but I'll tell you what, I'd want to be facing someone other than the Perth Wildcats, who for me are the hottest team in the competition at the moment. The Sydney Kings started to make a charge as well, but the Perth Wildcats just the class above as well. I put them up there with United as the two best teams of the competition, so I think this is going to be a sizable victory to the Wildcats, even though New Zealand looking to build a little bit of momentum halfway through the season. So I'm going to go with the Wildcats. I think it's going to be a sizable margin here, because what happens with these Breakers games is they usually hold it together towards the start and then they blow out late. So I'm going to take the Wildcats to cover the spread. I reckon it'll happen in the fourth quarter. The total points over is the very rare play here for me, so enjoy the game and gamble responsibly.
Cuts through the Tasmania D. That's a nice possession from the Breakers. Deep threes. That's a good finish from Randall.
Tough finish.
Harrison took it straight at him and scores.
It's a beautiful take by the young fella. You can see the confidence every time he touches the ball.
And Matchuk, the jam, and in the blink of an eye, the Wildcats are in front. And with that look in his eye early on in the second half. Takes on Patterson. Cotton rips it down the floor. Coast to coast three. Oh my. Magnificent.
This is the moment.
Good evening, wherever you might be right around Australia. Two teams who have had vastly different seasons for many and varying reasons. But tonight, the Perth Wildcats in Tasmania against the New Zealand Breakers. And the Red Army are about to welcome their team home. Hello to you, I'm Cam Luke, Corey Homicide Williams, Andrew Gaze. Monday night, this will be intriguing. Both had great Saturday nights.
Well, that's it. Both these teams coming off wins, but the Perth Wildcats, as you mentioned in the introduction, one of the hottest teams in the competition, winning 5 out of their last 6. They've got a dynamic duo in Law and Cotton that, well, they are one of the most dynamic duos we've seen in many years. And that man on your screen, Bryce Cotton, he is in absolutely spectacular form, shooting the ball at a really good clip, and just not just about the shooting with him, it's what he does and the space that he creates for his teammates as well. And he has been fantastic, and as such, Perth are sitting in a magnificent position, 12-6. It's a little misleading because they've got 9. That's right, 9 home games coming up to finish the season after this one here today.
The Amy ladder, it is starting to shape up. You talk about the home games, Homicide. This is going to be interesting. There you go. Their last away game in the regular season. You're a Red Army expert. Talk us through the run they're about to go on.
They will finish top of the ladder.
Oh.
They have been battling on the road at one point for 64 days, and they've still found ways to keep that win column climbing.
Well, you know what?
Right? That's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
And for them to have 9, look at that. It favors them.
It is.
How do they not finish on top of the ladder?
Well, they don't win enough games. That's how they do it. But I think with that,
It's a new rule.
You know that's not happening, Gaze.
with that run home, it's hard to see how they won't. But they still got to play a little bit of catch up against a team that they beat a couple of days ago. And you look at the starting lineup.
DoorDash starting 5. Don't forget, for DoorDash, 20% off everything. Use code MADNESS. Andrew, continue.
Correct, and it's a very nice starting lineup because they can put points on the board. They're averaging 90 points a game on the season, and anytime you have a man like that at your disposal, he's been in fantastic form of late as well. Vic Law is averaging 21 points and 11.6 rebounds. Let's round it up.
We round that up to 12.
To 12, and been doing it very efficiently alongside his running mate Bryce Cotton.
A couple games ago, he had a couple bad games. But he has been on a tear since then. And let's talk about, yes, he had 24, 8, and 4 in this one. But what about the game before that against Melbourne United? When Jack White locked him up.
Tasty.
And I tagged him on Insta. He didn't like it. And he came out on fire since 20 points, 18 rebounds.
Good news. Tom Abercrombie has passed his fitness test. He is ready to go. There's Hugo Basson, which we'll get to in a moment. But for DoorDash, this is great news. The first time, really, they've had a full list to choose from. Siva, Jeng, we're going to get into here. The next star in great form, Abercrombie, as I mentioned, Finn Delaney and Yanni Wetzel. But there you go for the DoorDash starting 5 in the lineup. That's as strong as they can get, Andrew.
Well, it is, and a little surprised to see Hugo Basson not starting because he's coming off a 17-point game. And he is one that is, well, when you think of the remaining games of this season and what lies ahead for the New Zealand Breakers, trying to get that man drafted, I'm sure would be high on their priorities.
All right. Who wins?
Perth.
Yeah, it's hard to go by Perth.
Well, away we go. You hesitated. You called him. You said they would finish on the ladder a second ago. Jing beating great form. Can't continue it there. And Majuk with the first rebound of the game.
What's this end of the floor where New Zealand are going to have to do most of their work? This team here has been extraordinary. They put up 97 points against the best defensive team in the competition, Melbourne United, last week. And they're doing it without necessarily shooting the three ball all that well the last 4 or 5 games. So they've got a multitude of ways in which they can put points on the board.
I have a question for you, Gaze.
Please.
For me, he is, but is Vic Law first team all NBL, especially after that performance, 20 and 18?
Never in doubt, in my opinion.
Mitch Norton.
Well, Mitch Norton has been another one that Melbourne United didn't pay him the respect that he was due, and he dropped 27 on him. 26. I'm prone to exaggerate.
So am I. So I'm around that up to 30. He gave them 30.
Just on Mitch Norton, who of course was outstanding. Law pulls up for 3. Little mini transition, no good. Finn Delaney will go the other way. Indigenous jerseys as well, and they look outstanding. I think Mitch Norton's health is probably the best it's been for a little while. We've seen him battle through. Abercrombie, no good. Delaney with an offensive board. He'll go one-on-one with Vic Law, who's ambitious at best to find Abercrombie, and an early turnover. But I think his health is the best it's probably been for 12 months, and he looks a little freer and more at physically ease on the court.
And he's had a few issues to deal with throughout the course of the season as well. Just couldn't get hold of it. He's another one that doesn't put up the big numbers, but in this lineup right now, especially with the problems they've had recently with Hodgson, that Majuk is a big factor, and Yanni Wetzel has had a sensational year and coming off a bit of a spell and eased his way back into it in that win against Adelaide a couple of days ago.
Law on Wetzel, got it. I don't think that's even a discussion point anymore.
I'm going to tell you
in the All-NBL first.
I'm going to tell you why. You have Mitch Creek, JLA, Xavier Cooks, Vic Law. Somebody's not making it.
JLA won't make it. Great move.
JLA's MVP of the league. How are you going to exclude the MVP of the league in first team All-NBL? Explain that.
I don't think he'll be the MVP. He's been amazing. Great pass inside. That's going to count as well.
Back to work.
More on the pick and roll. What a pass. Threads the needle, and the big man's able to finish it. As we have a look, talk us through this young man first, Homicide.
I'm just loving the confidence that he's playing with. That draft stock continues to rise as he shows his move with the left-hand float. And Vic Law just handling business.
What is it? Great pass. Good roll by Vic Law. And when you're hard showing, if you allow that gap to split the gap, that pass is always going to be on, and you must rely on the weak side help or help coming from the third man in order to cut that off.
Seaver straight on through, no good. Majuk with the rebound. I think the technicality will mean JLA won't be in the All-Star 5 because you don't have to have a centre. As Liam Santamaria pointed out in NBL overtime a couple of weeks ago, this
cooking.
man's just cooking.
Just sensational form. He's come into the game. This has been an incredible round.
Well, he's 3 or 4 in this one, and that little mid-range he's really good at. And that time there in traffic just got the athleticism and the timing to still get those shots off.
Great move. Yanni Wetzel, look one way, spun to his left, kisses it off the window. He's got 4. And you mentioned him easing himself back into this lineup, Andrew Gaze, after what has been a really good season. They are a vastly different team.
Oh, they're a different team.
Yep, when the big man's in there. Cotton stops on a dime, pulls up. 12-footer from the baseline, isn't it?
This is just 2 players in complete control of what's going on. And they're 2 absolute superstars.
Abercrombie uses the pick from Delaney, can't find him. Shot clock's getting low. Delaney has to let it go. Mitch Norton said, not on my watch. And now the Wildcats a little semi-transition. It's Bryce Cotton.
Great weak side help by Mitch Norton. Helping his teammate out. And the ball just, listen, that's just too easy.
Well, that's it. And we give full credit to the Perth Wildcats, but the ease at which they're putting the ball to the deck and straight line driving is going to be a long night if they continue to allow that to happen.
Law has 8. The lead is 6. Jeng, tough. Wetzel on the offensive glass. Got Majuk in the air, but couldn't finish with the left-hand hook. Now it's Norton, full head of steam. Great D by Seaver. Cotton bumps into Wetzel, who did a great job to show, and then kind of threw it away when he probably had a bit more room to work with. And it ends up one-on-one in the post, and Majuk just bullies Abercrombie, one of the best defenders in the league, and he's earned himself a couple of freebies.
It is, and the thing about this New Zealand team is we take a look at the replay here, that ball moving around, and that is just a straight line drive, no help, and as easy as you like, and down low, Abercrombie, he needs to try and half front that and not let the catch. But when you just look at the personnel, now that the New Zealand Breakers have got their full complement of players back, there's a lot to like about this New Zealand team with some of the personnel. They've got some good players to build around. And I know Delaney hasn't had his best season, but there's always going to be an asterisk next to this season and what's happened to the New Zealand Breakers. And being away from home for so long has been well documented. But when you look at Yanni Wetzel, you look at Delaney, you look at McDowell White, Galloway, there's a nice core to build around. Abercrombie, he's still got plenty left in the tank.
The trusty veteran, correct.
If they can just figure out their import balance.
Great move. Jeng, just on that too, Drewy, not just the fact and how much has been made of them in the last 2 years and the great job they've done being away, and we thank them as much as we can. It's nowhere near enough to make sure this NBL league continues the way it has. Their injuries that they continue to pile on as Wagstaff is able to get that to go is almost just a bigger issue for them than it has been playing away from home.
No, it certainly has, and it's disruptive, and it's hard to get any rhythm and establish roles and refine the roles which is required when you've got such an even competition. And right now I like this timeout because it's just starting to get away from New Zealand Breakers on the defensive end.
Okay, let's just get serious. Last man chuck the man up. We score over here at the rim, top. Everybody doesn't know his matchup, okay? Anybody doesn't know it, tell me, okay? I will tell you who your matchup is. Talk and pick up after we finish here at the rim, so we pick him up the right way fast. Impact with hands, last man in time. Okay, lawn doesn't go right. Let's be serious over there. Over here, you're attacking the rim when you play the right way. Because we get it away. We miss chippies, it's part of the game. Be consistent over there. Here, I don't have any problem. No fast shots, keep attacking, keep driving, the kicking, the extra passes, the shots, fantastic. Get serious over there, come on. It's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke over there.
Dan Shamir, as we were alluding to in the commentary, not happy with the defense, and as he should be, and he's talking about identifying who your matchups are, and that's a lot to do with the defensive transition, and also focusing on the scout and just in how in which they're not being able to contain the ball carriers. And if you can't contain them and you're not sending them where you're supposed to, it becomes really hard on the defensive end, and they've found they're going tough at that end of the floor.
Abercrombie v Wagstaff. Low into the game, here's Seaver. Shot clock's got low. Abercrombie has to let it go, and it's nothing but Twine as he finds the bottom of the net. Here's Travers. Two young guns in the NBL this year going one-on-one.
Great help.
Zuni couldn't quite get it through. Seaver with the hand, now he'll push.
Better defense, that possession by New Zealand. Can they convert and get a bucket?
Great hands this time by Fraser. Now it's Law, who's been hot early. Travers, little pick and roll with Law. Now he's going to try and find him in the post. No, he's not. He's going to ignore him. Fraser for three. Hasn't been his strong suit so far this NBL season, and that one misfires.
A good defensive possession by New Zealand. Gonna have to be converting on this end down here.
Delaney couldn't get it to go. Took the bump. Vic Law's kind of questioning where it was. Couldn't quite finish with the left.
It's a good take by Delaney. As we talked earlier, hasn't been great this. Abercrombie for three. Nice take by Finn, trying to get himself going.
It is straight down the middle, and most teams these days try to take away the middle. It varies from team to team. There's no necessarily right or wrong way, but that time you see down the middle, when you allow that penetration, not only do you have the shot, you have better passing angles out of it as well. So that's why most of the time...
Send him baseline. Limit his options.
Send him to the baseline, hopefully drive him into traffic.
Good Law. 8 points in 7 minutes.
Wagstaff after breaking the press pretty easily. Couldn't get it to go down. After Norton was able to find him. Little push, that'll be on Randall, who's just entered the game on the rebound, and it'll stay with the Wildcats.
It's not a lot in it, but one of the stats that surprised me, over the past 5 games, we spoke about the extraordinary statistics of Vic Law with those 21 and 12 averages, but he's actually averaged more than that man on your screen there with that baseline drive. And across that period, Bryce Cotton's averaged the 20. So the combination of the two, putting up over 40 across the on average. So more than half the scores, or almost half the scores, I should say, coming from those two players. But it's
deadly duo.
Vic Law that just a little bit ahead of Bryce Cotton over those past 5 games.
First one's down.
Just not sure why we haven't seen Hugo Bosson just at this point in time just yet. After a good outing against the Adelaide 36ers.
Miguel White in for his first minute. Jen gets a little hit. Dan Shamir, vocal as always. Question.
Come down, zone. Hey, well, get in well, inbound.
Wants Randall to inbound it.
I think he wanted, pretty adamant about who he wanted to pass the ball inbounds. And that's because they've got a set play, the action that they want to get to.
Here is McDowell White. Shot clock down to 6. Running out of time. Lowe just pushes it out to Randall. That's a long 3, long rebound. Norton runs it down. And that 6-point Wildcat lead about to be stretched. No, it's not. Misfire by Fraser. Kept alive perfectly by Wagstaff. Little give or go. Little volleyball action homicide that leads of a brilliant heads-up play by Luke Travers to a layup for Wagstaff.
Great. That's just great basketball IQ. Saw his man right underneath the basket. Nice tap by Travers. And another turnover by New Zealand. That's one thing you do not want to do against this team.
Fraser puts it on the floor, runs out of places to go, and in the end, bailed out by Cotton, who missed one. He would make 999 times out of 1,000.
Well, I'm not
the
sure.
Superstar that he is.
Not sure the odds would be that high, but you're right.
White, little floater's nice.
It's unusual to see him miss them in those types of circumstances, but Perth be really happy.
He makes
with
3 over triple teams, Drew. He's making a little double clutch floater more often than not.
Well, in traffic to the little fellas, sometimes it's perceived pressure, but one thing they would like is the ball movement. The way in which the ball is moving side to side. You speak about Travers, and this is just being understanding where your teammates are. Sees that the help's come before he even gets it. He knows that Delaney's coming across to help, and there's a little foul with the more with the lower body than anything upstairs.
Vic Law enters the game. Fraser takes a seat. If you're just joining us, welcome to you. Vic Law's had a great start.
8 points in 7 minutes on 4 of 5 from the field.
Well, the New Zealand Breakers, when they've had their wins, they've been able to knock down the through ball. In fact, they were 12 of 24 in that win against the Adelaide 36ers and shot it at 55% overall from the field. And you see in this one here, they're only 1 of 6. So the Perth Wildcats doing a good job of defending the three ball, which they had success with the other night against Adelaide.
Pressure up the floor. Here's some good news for you, Andrew Gaze.
Oui.
Delaney able to get Law in the air. There is Basson. Extra pass. Turned down by Randall, who goes bang straight into Mitch Norton, I think it is, under the bodies. It is. No real surprise to see him slide his feet and take one right in that number 8. And that's another turnover for the Breakers.
That's just great defense. Run them off the three-point line. Great rotation. They penetrate. Ooh. And runs right over the defender, Mitch Norton. Right place at the right time.
And the thing is, it's also about being prepared to sacrifice your body. And it's not easy to take those hits. And when you've got a guy full steam coming at you,
you got a decision to make. And see how loyal you are to that defense.
And Norton, he's not going to shy away from that.
15-foot fadeaway. Bryce Cotton is able to get it to go. Randall's got 3 fouls, so he goes to the bench. Thomas Abercrombie re-enters the game. Delaney, he's low inside to the left hand. Gets it to go. Great pass, Finn Delaney. And Rob Lowe's able to caress it home for a possible 3-point play.
Yeah, the long rebound hurt the Wildcats and bounces out. And a good hit out by Lowe, and then he gets the reward. Comes straight back to him. And nice little work with the left hand.
Seven seconds between the shot and game clock here.
Not enough time for a quality 2-for-1, so they'll just make sure that they run this down as low as they can and get the best shot available.
Cotton guarded by Abercrombie. Shot clock into single figures. Oh, just crosses over Abercrombie. Couldn't get it to go. Majuk had it for a split second.
Good stop. New Zealand get an opportunity with enough time on the clock to get a good shot.
It's not Will McDowell White. Dan Shamir.
They got one to give.
Desperately keeps him on the floor. Finn Delaney's the man that he wanted to take a seat for the last 8 seconds as Peyton Seaver comes back in and has the pill. Great pass, Low, half surprised he caught it. He's from the foul line. You heard Dan Shamir, and there's an opportunity for Blanchfield, who nearly got it to go from court to court. It ends an interesting first 10 minutes at My State Bank Arena. It's the Wildcats led by Vic Law with 8 points, 24. They lead by 7 over the Breakers, 17. Second quarter on the other side of this. Corner in the books. Usman Jeng starts his night like he's been going the last couple of weeks. Vic Law just doing what he does all year. Yanni Wetzel, good to see him back in full flight. And Bryce Cotton, well, I got no words. He is the superstar, as we know. Good to see Tom Abercrombie pass his fitness test, and he's out there as well. There we go. That's the Wood family. Tracy Wood, congratulations. Tonight's winner of the $50 Kmart gift card. The Wildcats are the glue that binds our almost fully grown family, says Tracy. So there you go, Tracy. Congratulations. All thanks to Kmart. $50 gift card. All yours, Andrew Gaze. What did you make of the first 10 minutes?
I reckon it binds the entire state. There's no state that really is represented as well as the Perth Wildcats, and that's what happens when you've been in the playoffs for a bazillion years, or seasons, I should say. But Vic Law is doing whatever he likes out here. And Homicide, I ask you this question.
I'm here.
You've got Bryce Cotton and Vic Law. Now, if this was their first season, which is impossible to do, and you knew nothing else about Bryce Cotton, and you had to choose between Vic Law and Bryce Cotton,
You taking Vic Law?
That's what I was alluding to.
You're taking Vic Law.
And that sounds ridiculous with one of the all-time greats running around there, still doing some special things. But I kind of agree. Vic Law has been incredible this season.
And that's just a credit to Bryce Cotton, just able to share the light.
And willing.
Willing to just sit back
and say,
do your
hey,
thing, my brother.
I need some help here.
Do your thing.
It's about us, not me.
That's right. No I and T.
Red one. 4. 2.
Peyton Seaver tried the shuffle of feet, didn't get there. Bryce Cotton has got a couple now. I'll throw this to you, Drewy.
Yeah.
So Peyton Seaver's obviously pointing. He got the offensive foul in the first quarter.
Just sliding across a little too late.
It makes it very hard to stick up for the player in his point where coaches' challenge exists.
Time out.
Well, I think they're going to challenge it on this one as well. Perhaps, maybe.
Challenge on the blocking.
There we go.
Yeah, there's going to be a challenge. And I can understand why they're going to challenge, because there was a slight hint down the other end when Norton...
But they could have challenged that one, Drew.
When they called the charge.
Like, you can challenge it and you don't lose it. So it takes... These are the exact calls that if you're trying to argue, it's like, well, you had a chance to challenge the previous one in the first quarter, just like you can do this. Homicide, what do you make of it?
That's a block.
Oh, it's close, because it is really close. And these are the ones that I think that it's you could argue both ways. You sort of see him sliding a little to the left, but does he get there in time and get established? And he's just marginally leaning. But you could have argued the same, I guess, down the other end with Norton was slightly moving ever.
Absolutely, you could have, and they could have challenged that one. That's when it comes to players continually saying, well, why didn't I get that call compared to this one? It's like we have a process in place that allows it.
Here comes a decision.
Coach's challenge is unsuccessful. The blocking foul stands. We have 2 shots to Cotton. Coach loses his timeout and his challenge.
It's a big penalty. Still sliding his feet, as we indicated, has been the official feedback from the replay centre.
Bryce Cotton just gets to go to the foul line. Have a couple of freebies to come. Dan Shamir loses the timeout, as we just heard. And the first one is nothing but net.
1.
You haven't been down to Tassie yet, have you, in this particular stadium,
I need to
boys?
get down there. I really do.
You do. It is a great place to watch basketball. And the way that team is playing.
And the way they're playing right now, the fans behind them.
You're the #1 ticket holder as well.
I am. I need to get down there this season.
You do. Here's Basson, uses double screen. Still has a Blanchfield all over him. Abercrombie. Seaver, the shot clock was about to expire. Nothing but the Tasmanian air, and away goes Cotton. Blanchfield takes a little bump. Couldn't get it to go. That sort of half 2-foot jump stop shot put is one that he's mastered in recent years, and he now, on that particular occasion, earns a couple of free.
It is, and Blanchfield's another one that has just been a real pro in going to work and getting his numbers when the games come to him. But tonight's a really good example of him not just going out there and forcing things. He's only had the 1 field goal attempt, and that was a 3 ball. He now goes to the line where he comes up short, but I think when you've got these 2 guys that are so central to you, you need guys that are really, really good and potentially capable of producing a lot more in different teams, but prepared to sacrifice a little bit because you know you're going to go with a lot of it's going to be played through the 2 teams. But burgers are on the way, free burgers, which makes them all that much more tasty.
These 2 teams are a little confusing every now and then, who's away and who's home, but today it is the away team that is Perth. Code word is battle. Congratulations. Go and get your free burger from Hungry Jack's.
Hey, Siva.
All Tassie as well. All of Tasmania right now licking their lips. Siva with the reverse. Sorry, homicide.
Yeah,
nice
no worries. Siva with a reverse, and he needs to get himself going offensively as well. Vic Law continues this sensational form. 6 of 7 from the field. 12 points in 10 minutes.
Dan Shamir spoke about it in the timeout. He wasn't happy with the defense, and he probably isn't overly pleased. Here's Bosson. Couldn't get it. It was tough in the end, and the Wildcats will push. Through Bryce Cotton. What a pass. Majuk. Might have looked a bit easier than it probably was, but a great pass by Bryce Cotton. Pick and roll, Majuk straight to the front of the room, and in the end, was able to kiss it off the window, and the lead is double figures.
They've really found their groove, the Perth Wildcats, over this time on the road. And there we'll see a little blocking foul by Majuk. But this time on the road, could have gone either way with the Perth Wildcats. But what it seems to have done is it's really bonded them and really established and refined their roles. There's Majuk down one end doing really good things on the on-ball screen, and down the other end. Well, he was in good position. I think it was the dropping of the hand where he swiped his hand, just collected the elbow. I think it was more with the hands than it was with the body, because he shuffled his feet and got himself into a good defensive position.
It's a great take by Yanni and finish.
3-point play by the big man.
7-point game. This thing was looking ugly early.
And Yanni's got 7. Law gets to wherever he wants to go.
Mid-range master. Mid-range master. 7 of 8, 14. Game-leading scorer. They have no answer for him on defense.
He's only taken the 1-3. And the rest, like you say, is all in that mid-range as Hugo Bosson goes into the keyway. And those little floaters are the ones.
Oh, my goodness.
Step back, a little short. And they're a fun team to watch, the Wildcats. We're in this type of mood. Siva. Here's Wetzel, 7 points already. One-on-one with Law, gets to where he wanted to go and leaves the jump hook short.
Well, now's the testing time when they play this small ball. No Hodgson, and they go small, and that's where you're most likely to be exposed around the box.
Now Bosson will pick up the Wagstaff miss and push it right the other way and throw it straight to the hand of that man Wagstaff, and now it's Fraser. And they'll reset the Wildcats, leading by 8. He gets to the exact same spot. The Law just hit it for the exact same result, and the exact same double-digit lead is restored.
As you saw, what we saw, a breakdown on defense, giving a guy pretty much a layup.
Well, it's an uncontested free throw.
Made them pay.
That's just when you're desperate and you're playing against a team like the Perth Wildcats, you can't have breakdowns like that. And there's another slapping, this time by Frazier. And this is where the opportunity. Test Perth against the small ball. And there it is, just too slow on the recovery. They're coming off the curl. And just on that time there's no switch. Just confusion between the two, whether you're switching or staying at home. And down the other end, Wetzel, when it comes to the on-ball roller, he's one of the best in the competition at getting to his spots. And
Scott Morrison about to have a chat. Good. To his troops. Take it away, Skirmo.
2 free throws in a row now. Show your hands, okay? If he goes around you because it's a good move, that's fine. Okay, don't give him an extra one, all right? Let's go pick side. LT, you're here. Mitch, you're bringing the ball up, okay? Bryce is the first, then Jesse. All right, now, I want to really look at this rip screen, all right? So don't do anything foolish over here. If you see him denied flash, you can catch it. Still set the rip screen for Mitch, okay? Be sure.
Well, now they're going extraordinarily small. They take Vic Law out of the contest, who's just been dominating the boards. Not so much in this game, but over the last 5 games, averaging 12 rebounds a game. And he's got 3 in this one. Norton comes in for him, so this is going to put the onus back on Travis to try and pick up some of that slack. I can't imagine that Vic Law is going to be on the sideline too long where they keep their bigs, either him or Majuk out. But this is an opportunity now to try and expose what the Perth Wildcats are doing and see if you can't counter and get the advantage on the offensive end.
Just keep playing through Yanni Wet so good things happen. They just need to get stops, though, on the other end. The name of the game right here. Defense against this Wildcats team.
Travers. Ron Jing. Peyton Seaver walked over. Made sure that he made enough noise. And he took it this time in the numbers, and the charge goes his way after missing out the previous time.
Good stop by New Zealand. Good help.
Not much doubt about that one. He was planted, had his feet there. Good help position.
Nine-point lead. Here's Basson, guarded by Cotton. Wetzel again, this time got Wagstaff on his back. Gets everywhere he wants to go and just missed one that he wouldn't make.
And that's all right, because they got the ball where they wanted to. But that's not all right. The breakdowns continuously on defense.
Yeah, that's way too easy. No weak side help. And there were guys there, bodies there, but just focusing on the man and not the position. And Cotton gets an easy 2.
Wetzel spins on Wagstaff, takes the bump. Wagstaff tried to reach and prize it free, no good, and Yanni Wetzel to the foul.
Well, that's what Scott Morrison was talking about that last time out. If they're going to blow by you, just carry your hands high. Don't swipe down on them. It was Frazier the last time, and this time there it's Jesse Wagstaff, and gee whiz, from that angle, it looked like he got a whole lot of ball.
Yeah, whoever they are putting on that man at the free throw line ain't good enough to stop him. He's also having a good first half. It's up to 9, 5 rebounds.
Well, I think strategically they've done the right thing the last 4 or 5 possessions with a really small ball. Vic Law comes back in, but in that really small ball by the Perth Wildcats, they get it into his hands and they try and pound it in there. They haven't got the reward. Could have been a few 3-point plays. They haven't been able to make them and been missing from free throws as well. And there is just a breakdown, no box out on the free throw. And Finn Delaney with a nice, easy tip in.
Got it. Next week.
The little frustrating moments the coaches hate. Drewy, senior hair grey, no box out. 1 turns into 2. Basson picks up foul number 2. Still scoreless, only a couple of shots from the field for Hugo Basson in his 7 minutes so far.
And another offensive foul.
Talk us through it, Homicide.
Vic Law just takes out Basson. He's playing the wrong sport. That possession, that was football.
Gridiron.
Gridiron.
Hard to call it football when you only kick it every now and again.
Well, that is true. No.
Here's Seaver. Travers.
And that's 2 shots because Perth over the penalty. I mean, check this out. New Zealand do a good job defensively 50% of the time. This is a tie ball game. They may be up. They had too many breakdowns already in this game that gave up easy points.
2 Two guys.
3 fouls on Luke Travers. He heads to the bench. It's their consistency of playing 24 seconds a good D, isn't it, Holmes?
It is. And that just comes down to concentration and effort.
You got to get stationary.
A lot of the time it comes down a little bit to
Yeah.
Tom Abercrombie's probably their best defender, and he's missed so much of the season as well. Peyton Stephen nails 2. Leads back to 6. Last 5 points for the Breakers.
He's up to 7 in this one with 3 assists.
Here's Wagstaff. One-on-one with Delaney.
Great defense.
Wetzel got the hand in now. Jake behind the back. Couldn't finish it. All that good work. Yardy Wetzel hit exact same comment. Great offensive glass and misses a little jump hook. And at the other end, Fraser runs into a Finn Delaney defensive stance, and they'll start again. That is tough from Vic Law. It's a little mini heat check. Rather than kick it out, he takes an almost behind the backboard shot. And now the Breakers with their opportunities to get even closer. Can they take one here? Seaver, feeling good. So he should be, knocks it down. And the last 8 points are all Breakers. He's got 10, and the lead's back to 3.
It's been a real good stretch at this end of the floor for the New Zealand Breakers. They able to get some stops and a few sloppy turnovers by the Wildcats. They only got 5 in total.
Norton able to get himself to the rim. That'll be on Seaver, who at the other end just stands and delivers homicide.
It's up to 10 points in 14 minutes. Coming off a solid performance, 16-4 in their win versus Adelaide.
His basketball talent and ability isn't questioned. It's his body's ability to be able to consistently play at the high level.
Well, I can tell you this. Before the last game, he was 3 of 3 from 3 versus Adelaide. But before that, he was 3 of 20.
He was. And it went through a real tough stretch. And we all know his pedigree. He's been part of an NCAA championship winning team, spent a lot of time in Europe playing in the bigs, and for whatever reason, I think there's some good explanations why, but he hasn't been at his best with the New Zealand Breakers consistently.
Blanchford just knocks him down, and Seaver just absolutely sprints to the foul line, of course, over the limit of the Wildcats. And back to the foul line goes Peyton Seaver. It looks like he's about to take a break. After these, Will McDowell-White gets ready to check in. 5-point Perth lead. First one is good. He's got 11. He's having a nice night.
He sure is.
1.
2 of 4 from the 3. 11 overall. Make that 12.
And he'll take a well-earned break. Will McDowell-White comes back in. That lead is 3. It's been double figures a couple of times. The Wildcats threaten to really get hold of this one, but the Breakers have been great in the second half of this second quarter. And it's back within a single shot. Cotton. Wetzel runs down another rebound, and now Basson with an opportunity to cut this 3-point lead even a little closer.
Oh,
Jenks spins on Lawhead. Great defense. He was able to pick it back up. And now Cotton's going to push. Wildcats running. Great pass. Too easy in the end. Transition defense non-existent from the Breakers. Dan Shamir won't like it. Cotton finds his running mate, and Vic Law just doing whatever the hell he wants.
Great defense. Young fella had a real good move, but Vic Law blocked it. Gets a nice dunk on the other end.
Well, this minute and 40 here remaining is huge. They've done a great job
another pass.
Get back into it. And there you see
this duo is no joke, man.
I think we've established
this duo is no joke.
I think the whole Australia understands that this duo is the real deal.
Is it enough for them to win it?
Well, that's going to be the big question.
McDowell-White. Cotton, top of the key. Here's Law doing whatever he wants. 18 points already. Make it 20.
Listen.
Dribble, got to my spot. There's the net. Run and play defense.
How is there no double yet? He's killing you. How don't you double, Gaze?
Well, on that time there, it happened so quick. His move was so quick, there wasn't a lot of time, but I agree, they're going to have to think up of a new strategy and how they're going to guard him because he's having his way with him.
McDowell White, no good, and he just goes and gets the board, does Vic Law. He continues to have one hell of a night.
There's 10 of 12 from the field, and there's the D. Does his work there, makes Jang take a tough one, and down the other end, he just keeps running. And tucks that in with the two hands for an easy two. And down here, you see that now as soon as it goes to the floor, that's usually your key, but it happens so quick. The key to set the double team is usually going to be off the bounce. But I think when he's in this type of form, Finn Delaney was better served just running at him and make someone else beat you right now because Vic Law is getting it done.
Killing them. 20 points in 16 minutes, 10 of 12. In the first half. Looking like he's about to go to 22. When you're in this kind of form, you don't miss free throws. I ain't leaving no money out there, Gaze. I'm not leaving no money on the field when I'm in this type of form. Nope.
He did miss it earlier, free throw.
Cam.
But I do see what you're saying. He's in the rhythm.
Man.
He's in a real rhythm. He missed one early when he had a three-point play opportunity on that layup, but...
Oh, commentator's curse.
Corey.
Well, he's at 79, or close enough to 80% on the season, which is pretty decent, given that he gets there quite regularly.
He should just take... He should start the three-point line, just take two left-hand dribbles and just shoot a jump shot. He never misses
That's
that.
how automatic it's been
He is automatic.
Well, you're not allowed to do that, but I understand what you're saying.
Oh, thank you, Andrew.
I wasn't sure if you were aware of the rules on the free throw.
Here we go. See?
Wow. Good ball movement.
Great ball movement. Finn Delaney's able to hit a three right in front of a very loud and boisterous Breaker bench. He's got 6. His first three goes down. Shot clock is off, so the last shot of the first half will be the Wildcats. Through Cotton. He's got Wetzel on him. Little hesitation on the left. That is pretty. Couldn't get it to go, though. Yanni Wetzel. And that will end the first half, where the Perth Wildcats will lead by 7, paced by Vic Laws. 21 points. He has been outstanding, Bryce. Cotton likewise as well, and they have had a nice half. But the New Zealand Breakers, boys, are hanging around.
Well, they are, and they're doing some work on the offensive end that's kept them in the game. If they can find a way to tighten up their defense. There's Delaney, and look at the reaction. He's had a tough time of it, and you can see what that meant to him. Not just the fact they get the 3 ball, but for him individually, what's going on. Let's have a chat to Peyton Seaver.
Let's do it. 12 points in the first half. He's been great. Peyton, you're playing some good basketball at one end. Defensively, a couple of things to just tighten up on a bit.
Yeah, we got to do a better job of matching up in transition. We're kind of cross-matched right now, and they're getting really good shots. Vic Law's playing a major right now. He's getting everything he wants, so we got to do a better job in the second half.
You specifically are shooting the ball pretty good in this first half. You got to be feeling good about yourself.
I made a couple of shots, but, I mean, we're a team that we kind of struggle on the three-point line, so if we can make some shots and get some good looks, then that's all that matters. We got some good looks in the first half. So.
And what do you need to do on the defensive end? Is it just an effort thing? It looked like strategically you blew a few assignments in that first half as well.
Well, we just got to do a better job communicating, man. We're a young team, and we got to work on talking, and that's a big emphasis for this next half. And like I said, contain Law and don't let Cotton go off.
There you go. Easier said than done, but good luck in the second half. Peyton, thank you, mate.
See you guys.
Appreciate Peyton Seaver and all the players who stopped by to have a quick chat in really the heat of the battle. That man, there you go. Peyton Seaver said it. We slow him down, we've got a chance to win. Will they? Let's find out as the second half is on the other side of this. going. Hungry Jack's halftime highlights. Mitch Norton in ripping form continues it. Talking ripping form, Yanni Wetzel's had a season of some frustration with his injury. He's playing well, Usman Jing, but this man will get to Vic Law very shortly. But it's been fun. The Stars have come out to play tonight. Bryce Cotton, of course, the brightest of all stars, and Vic Law, remarkably, sometimes can make Bryce Cotton look like the second best player on the team. That's how good Vic Law's going right about now. But it has been, Andrew Gaze, a very fun first 20 minutes.
It has, and you look at these Perth Wildcats, they're shooting at 58%, and they're getting really good looks. And the surprising thing at halftime, they haven't made a three-point field goal. They're 0 of 8 from the three-point line, as opposed to the New Zealand Breakers are a 4 of 14. So there's still plenty more to give, and there has been a change in the Wildcats over the last 5 or 6 weeks, where they're not as reliant on the three ball as they have been previously, and it's been effective. They're getting to the rim, really efficient offensive. Look at Vic Law, 21 points, 4 rebounds, and Bryce Cotton prepared to play second fiddle with his 10 points, and Siva with the 12. He's been efficient. But if you look at the field goal percentages, there's a lot of upside still to come for the New Zealand Breakers. They're only shooting it rounded up to 38%, but some of those misses have been makeable misses. So they've still got a lot more that they can give. Rebound, they're splitting it right there. So it's this is going to be a tough one. 47 points, though, for the Perth Wildcats is too many. If New Zealand Breakers have to shoot over 95 points a game, they're not going to win too many games, and certainly not against the Perth Wildcats.
21 points, 10 of 12 from the floor for Vic Law. Homicide take us through his night. Remarkably, these are nice numbers if you play full quarters, but we're only 20 minutes in.
Man, if I'm putting a highlight tape together, sending it to the NBA, I'm starting off with this first half. He's done everything. One-on-one, post, mid-range, shooting over, playing defense, rebounding. There's nothing he hasn't done exceptionally well in this first half. Running the floor, playing defense, dunking, rolling. I mean, he's killing. Look at it. He's 10 of 12. He's doing whatever he wants to do out there. I like the fact that the Wildcats are finding him in the right places where he's able to be effective. And one-on-one, there's nobody that can guard him on this court. They have to send the double, but he's done well in this first half.
No, he's a superstar of our competition, and that's what happens when you talk about doubling. But when you've got a guy like Bryce Cotton out there, it does put a lot of pressure on your rotation. You've got to pick your poison. You saw Melbourne United do that and tried to come off Mitch Norton, and Norton went about his business and dropped 26 on him. So you've got to be careful, but they've got so much talent across the board. It's hard to just sacrifice someone and rush those double teams at him, because they pass the ball so well as well, particularly Vic Law. He's a good passer with that size.
Well, let's see how much of a superstar Andrew Gaze thinks Vic Law is as we get into the awards that we're looking towards as we get towards the business end of the regular season, and you won't believe it.
Well, I might flippity-flop it before the end of the season, but right now I'm going with Vic Law, with what he's doing with this Perth Wildcats team and the work that they've done on the road. Cotton and Law have carried a lot of it, and he's been fantastic. My good mate Jason Kadee, he may not be eligible because he's starting a lot now, but when we saw at the start of the season that spark coming off the bench, Matthew Dellavedova has been superb with his defensive effort. That's his calling card. That's why he survived so long in the NBA, and that's why the Cleveland Cavaliers also got an NBA championship with the work that he was able to do at the highest level. And Coach of the Year, honourable mention to Scott Roth. In fact, I think Scott Roth will win it. But Dean Vickerman, I think people sometimes underestimate how difficult it is to back up. And after the season that they've had, the change that they've had from their lineup from last year to this year, the way that Dean Vickerman's got his team playing defence, he gets my vote.
Let's get to Corey's. What do you got for us, big man? Who's MVP?
JLA Jr. If the league stopped today, he would be MVP of
Didn't
the
play
league.
in the last 3 minutes and 4 minutes of crunch time in the game yesterday.
That's all right. He's still MVP of the league. That's all right. Shaylee has been sensational coming off that bench, and the guy that he's playing behind has been sensational all season, which is Matthew Dellavedova. I love how they've been going about their business. And Coach of the Year, my man Scott Roth, he's exceeded expectations.
He has.
He really, really has. And, you know, I love everything about what's going on with the jack jumpers, and I need to get down there. But that is my 4 right there.
Just on Matthew Dellavedova, who you both had as Defensive Player of the Year. He's almost been understated how great he's been this year for United.
It is the work that he does of chasing guys around, staying on people's hips, in guarding those on-ball situations. And even when they get to switching, he can guard multiple positions, even though he doesn't necessarily have the height. But the physical nature and the aggressive way that he goes about it, it's been impressive.
7 points of difference. It's the Wildcats. Second half. Next. Twenty minutes in the books as we get ready to go. Second half, it's the Wildcats by 7. Seaver, Delaney, Wetzel, Randall and Abercrombie. The 5. For New Zealand, our first crack at it through Yanni Wetzel, who had a big first half. Can't continue it here. Vic Law talking big first half. So he had 21. At the intermission, and watches it go out of court, and his team will retain the ball.
Yanni Wetzel been aggressive this evening, 4 of 11 from the field. He's got 9 rebounds, so he's been active, and you can see why the New Zealand Breakers struggled when he was out injured. He is such an integral part of this New Zealand Breakers lineup.
So Usman Jing to start the second half like he did the first. Cotton, step back, no good. Wetzel, he calls that a double-double. At the other end, he has done that all night. This one he's able to roll it home. But you spoke about it, Andrew Gaze, when they play that little pick and roll and he catches it with a full head of steam at the foul line, he's almost impossible to stop.
We saw why there. At the last, the way in which he was able to change direction on that. The big men sometimes struggle with those quick changes of direction, but really good on his feet and read the defense perfectly.
Kick law, long.
Another stop by New Zealand. Go back to what's working. Peyton Siva handling the ball. A good first half.
Couldn't get that one to go from long range, and the lead stays at 5. Blanchfield, that's very crafty. Palmer's side, he gets to where he wanted to go. A little half euro, finishes it with the finger roll.
As you guys talked about it earlier, not allowing the offensive player to get to the middle. Too much good things can happen. And as you see, he went down the lane and got an easy layup.
Siva, pick and roll with Wetzel. This time he takes it all himself.
It's so much better when he is rolling offensively. It's now up to 14 points, 4 assists.
I spoke at half-time about the change at flop point. So we heard Dan Shamir, and it looked like that there was just a good tackle by Bryce Cotton.
Got to be said just quickly, that's now 4 fouls on Randall.
Randall has 4 fouls and has played 4 minutes.
Majuk gets it real deep. Couldn't finish one he should have made, but ran down by Norton, who just wanted to get his fingertips to it more than Finn Delaney. Little high-low action. Couldn't finish it with Vic Law off the lob from Majuk. Majuk, he'll go to the foul line, as you were saying, Andrew.
Yeah, just getting back to that point, in the first 12 rounds of the season, Perth led the league in three-point makes at a little over 11 per game, and they were shooting at a league best 35%. But over the last 5 games, the Wildcats have ranked 9th. That's second last in three-point makes at only 7 a game at 31%. And the only team to average less was the New Zealand Breakers, who have only been averaging the 6.8 per game at 26%. So there has been this change, but they've been able to find the balance. They're still scoring really well. In fact, the leading scoring team in the competition at 90 a game, or 89.9. So they've been still really putting up some big numbers, but not relying on the 3-ball as much as they were early on in the season.
And why do you think that is?
I think it's just an adjustment and trying to find ways to be a little bit more efficient. And also defenses adjust and they take away the 3-ball. And they've had the punishment for taking away the 3-ball and the way in which they can work the on-ball screens and find some action on the penetration or the roll-off.
I got caught watching the foot violation, Finn. Are you listening to my explanation? Up here.
I'm sure he was as he walked away, but either way, little conversation. It stays with the Breakers. Here's Siva, guarded by Norton. Two straight.
That's the right idea by Siva. Siva's starting to begin carving up this defense and finding Wetzel.
Well, they do this on an out-of-bounds play, sideline out of bounds. The Perth Wildcats will show a 2-3. And I don't know whether it's the second pass or it may even be after the first pass. They'll allow at least one pass, and then they generally match up. So they start in a zone, and then they'll go and get into a man-to-man action.
Norton slid the feet, got there.
And he fouls out. Randall fouls out the game.
He does, Corey, he most certainly does. 5 fouls in just over
5
4
minutes.
minutes. Just under 5, I reckon it is. No, he made it to 5. 5 minutes and 25 seconds.
That's quick.
Mitch Norton just beat him to the spot.
Andrew,
oh my goodness.
Real obvious call. Oh, that's quick. A little bit of a bemused look on his face.
You'll get.
I'm sure Statman will touch base, and I'm sure there's been a faster.
No, there's been quicker. Cameron Toby, Townsville, Crocs. He played in Perth. I think he fouled out in like 2.5 minutes.
2.5?
Something like that. Statty laid on us.
Now they've got to be able to find Norton.
Come on!
Let it go.
He's just dribbling around in circles. Norton eventually dribbled to the spot where he could just ease it up nice and softly on the rim.
Basson, he has to get going. He hasn't been able to do so far. None of 4 from the field in 11 minutes. Came off the bench tonight. Majuk, great high-low again. Vic Law got to where he wants to go. Bullied the defender, kisses it off the window. Vic Law goes to wherever he wants on the basketball court.
Well, it was just really well read that they could see they were fronting the low post. So Majuk comes in, and Bryce Cotton with the hockey assist. He knew they just had to get it there, and it was the high-low was going to be really easy as Delaney weaves his way and finishes one in traffic. Just hanging on at the moment. You feel like the Breakers are just hanging on to the rope. And they need to keep this scoreboard ticking over.
Basson. Well, Delaney got Majuk in the air. It's back to Basson. First one in the last play was a range finder. The second one is net. He hits his first bucket. The lead is 6, and that gets him off the ropes for at least a possession or 2, Andrew Gaze.
Well, my word, it does. It's like I said, it's much needed. It's hard to see how they're really going to find the answers on the defensive end. If that's the case, you've got to make sure that you keep the scoreboard moving, or else it can get away from you quickly.
Norton, tough pass, gets it back. Law again.
Oh, man.
Gets to where the ball is going to be more often than not. And on the putback, he was fouled.
Great ball movement.
It's good relocation. You see Basson just relocating, and Todd Blanchfield knew he had to close out, but just a little too far to go. And don't underestimate that pass as well. Really nice find. All right, Bach coming in to see his first action for this evening.
Vic Law up to 26. Looking for 27 in 21 minutes.
No, we feel like we've got to whisper because it's so unusual. It's like we're at golf, but we're not. But with no fans in here on those free throws, it just seems to really become even more quiet.
Great pressure in the trap. Got a hand to it, deflected it out of court. Disrupts again the Breakers a little bit, and they've got to reset from the sideline with 7 in on the shot clock.
Can you see the 2-3 show 2-3? Then eventually go into their matchup.
But got it. That's what he can do.
Great ball movement. The ball will find the open shooter. All they have to do is knock it down. That possession he did. 5-point game.
Well, it will find them provided you're prepared to move the ball. And New Zealand have been really good the last few possessions of swinging that thing.
Oh my goodness. Stop with the one-on-one coverage.
Well, I think that I'd advise him to try and not let it get to his hands. The catches and where he can catch the ball need to be much more physical to drive him off his spots.
Oh, yeah.
Wetzel, nice move. That's a flop warning, I think.
Go back to the hot hand. Catch him in that mid-range. Bucket.
You see, there's no denial. See Delaney, even there, when he brought it down, there was no problem with Vic Law actually catching the ball.
Jesse Wagstaff, talking about being in the right place at the right time. He's made a career of it. He's able to tip that in on the offensive board. He's got 6 on the night, goes with 3 boards, leads back to 7. Here's Basson. That last 3. Wagstaff.
24.
Gets picked up. 14, 11 tonight for Yanni Wetzel.
Well, Yanni Wetzel records his 4th double-double of the season. No other Breaker player has a double-double in this season. And he's still got plenty of time to add to those numbers.
He sure does.
Basson, bit more aggressive after that 3. That's a perfect example of it. Gets all the way to the bucket. Finishes with the left. He's got 5. And with Randall fouled out, A lot of that scoring is going to be on his shoulders. Cotton, great pass. Wagstaff, layup. Cut, paste, copy, repeat, whatever you want. This team just runs whatever they want, and they're getting whatever they want right now, and they lead by 7. Basson, here we go.
Sacre bleu!
And he can score punches.
Love it when he gets cooking.
It's fun to watch.
8 points already in this quarter, and that could be offensive.
Foul, and Basson takes it as well. And Basson will bark on his check.
It's all right, I'm happy to hear your voice as well.
It is bark.
Feel free to come over the top of me anytime you want, but that is just a thing of beauty.
Oh, no.
Look at him. Hugo just to the rack with the left and body control. Never in a rush, and this time there, just steps back. What? Nice.
And here he is. Guarded by Lord, 10 on the shot clock. Now gets a switch with Wagstaff. This, I reckon, is going up. Oh! And it's called. He's got it! Andrew Gaze!
Sacre bleu! This man is on fire!
He's got 11, all in the corner. The lead is down to 1. Hugo Basson. Travers can't finish the first one, gets it. And remarkably, in the space of 2 minutes, the Breakers can take the lead.
Well, it is, and...
Basson thought about it. Now let's a fire. Down the barrel! 14 straight for Basson. Andrew Gaze, take it away.
No, it's beautiful. It's a great stroke he's got. He's seeing it like a hula hoop right now, and from anywhere on the floor, it's the little shake to get his man off him, and here we see him just getting to his spot. That's too much space when a guy's in rhythm. They run the switch, and just the ball handling, the step back, and that's nice. And then when he's made a few, 3 more, if you're going to switch, you're going to have to switch a lot earlier than that, and you can see why he's on the NBA radar. He can put it to the floor, get to the rim, but also shoot that 3.
Big quarter. He's got all 14 of his in this quarter. That lead is 2. The last 9 points for New Zealand Breakers. Have a look at the shot chart there, all thanks to SodaStream. Still no 3 to go down for the Wildcats. As this Breakers team behind you, Hugo Basson, really start to find their range.
And you know what? On the flip side of that, you see New Zealand Breakers, mainly because of our man Hugo going off 4 of 6, and they're 9 of 21. Down the other end, the Perth Wildcats still 0 of 8. They were 0 of 6 in the first quarter, 0 of 2 in the second, and have yet to throw one up in this quarter. So they have been an onslaught now, and you can see why he's smiling. And just a great shooting display, a man who's feeling confident. And it took until about the 2-minute mark in the first quarter before he actually came on.
He, of course, is part of the All-NBL Green Light team.
He's only played 15 minutes.
Remarkable. And without Randall getting in foul trouble, as he gets his hand in the passing lane there, and now they'll push through Basson. He wants to pull up. And the Breakers are feeling good. This game is turned on its head. Wetzel, a little double clutch reverse was tough during the double team. And the Wildcats get a chance to tie or take back the lead. Travers takes the bump from Bark and will go to the foul line.
New Zealand Breakers early in this game have been inconsistent on defense, but they have managed to keep Bryce Cotton quiet. Yes, Big Law is a one-man show, but with Hugo.
Well, right now, Homicide, if you the New Zealand Breakers just milk this
100%.
hot streak as much as you can, run your sets through him, and just see how long he can maintain this stretch.
All tied up into the last 90 seconds of the third quarter. little trapping action from the Wildcats. McDowell White, top of the key. Here is Basson. Inside to Wetzel. Couldn't get it to go.
It was the right idea under normal circumstances, the right pass, and Travers comes in and makes it. But when you're hot,
got to put it up.
Basson had that window just to let it fly. And, you know, you got to expect that Yanni Wetzel should have finished that one. And as I said, in the normal context of a game, you go, well, that's the right play. But he's wide open, and he just slipped on a
wet patch.
A wet patch, I think. Hopefully it was. It looks okay. And I think Yanni a little upset that he missed that last one.
Yeah.
As well. That's what he's more hitting himself about. And he goes out. Low comes in.
Can't wait for that Thursday night homicide. Illawarra and South East Melbourne, two teams who had opportunities this weekend.
Whoever wins that game will be in the top 4. Illawarra's in all types of trouble.
Basson.
Turn it up! This is just one of the great shooting displays we've seen all season. We saw a glimpse of it early on against the Adelaide 36ers.
Offensive foul.
The Perth Wildcats are copying the full force of Hugo Basson. And an offensive foul. And this is a real interesting test for the Perth Wildcats, seemingly having this game under control for a lot of it and beyond NBA range. Hugo making the scouts stand up and take note.
Here he is again, guarded by Norton. Not an easy task. Now has Law on him, sizes him up, uses a left-hand dribble, gets deep, half floater. It was tough. Great defense by the Wildcats, in particular Vic Law. And the shot clock is off for the last play of the third quarter.
What a third quarter by Hugo.
Love it.
Cotton, down the 5. Travers talking young guns. Couldn't finish it, and that ends as Will McDowell White draws iron from three-quarter court. But that ends a big third quarter for the New Zealand Breakers, and that man, 17 points for Hugo Basson. We've got a cracking 10 minutes ahead. Don't go anywhere. It's on the other side of this. What a remarkable 10 minutes. It's the Breakers by a point. Yanni Wetzel's been great all night. His 4th double-double on the season. This is the first half. He did pretty much whatever he liked. Vic Law has been dominant all night. But the story right now is Hugo Besson, that young man, who just had 17 points in the quarter, and he raised a double-digit lead for the Wildcats and gave the Breakers the upper hand leading into the last.
Well, 17 points is the best quarter by any Breaker player this season. So,
oh my goodness.
Well, talking about superstars.
The onslaught continues.
31 for Vic Law.
13 of 16 from the field.
Red 3.
And an offensive foul beyond Finn Delaney. It's his 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And here, well, that's a little unlucky. It looked like Vic Law might have pushed him in the back to help him commit that foul.
Cotton straight on 3. McDowell White with the rebound. Just heard from the stat man. You were right, homicide. Cam Tobin.
My former teammate, I was in that game.
What did you...
Foul down 3.5 minutes.
3 minutes and 25 seconds. Great pass. Here's Besson, man of the moment. In and out. Delaney, great rebound. Offensive board and able to put it back. You hear a little bit of frustration from Scott Morrison in the background. And they're back up with 9 minutes to go.
Well, it is. And 0 of 10 from the three-point line for the Wildcats. And
another great defensive stop. And that's all they were missing. We talked about it earlier. Had they gotten stops earlier, they would have been potentially in the lead. They're now getting stops. The ball is going in the hoop on the offensive end. Hence this 1-point lead. Can they continue to keep that man quiet? He's 3 of 11 from the field. They've done a great job on Bryce Cotton so far in this game.
McDowell White. That's the Wildcats. The chance to try and take back the lead. What a game it's been. Monday night around the country. Vic Law been incredible all night. Majuk had it, lost it, had it, lost it. Referee said he lost it officially. It'll go back to the Breakers.
Just feel all the momentum has shifted.
Well, it is, and those little effort plays now, you're more engaged on the boards and caused that one to come off Majuk. Second shot's down the other end. The cuts are just with a little bit more authority. Everything picks up when you start to feel good, and a lot of it's got to do with number 25.
Bark already has 1, now has 2 from the land of plenty. He's got 6 on the night. Great look as well.
It's a great offensive set. Nice back door.
Talking great looks and great passes on the side.
That's the way to get your superstar going. Get him something easy, which they just did. Good back door.
12 for Cotton. Besson. Bark, 2 straight. Majuk with the rebound. Playing a lot more minutes without Hodgson in the lineup. 4.6 boards tonight for Majuk. Cotton takes the bump from Bark.
Also might need to get an update from the stat man about the Perth Wildcats and see Bark wide open. You can see the rotations, and that time there, Hugo Besson needs to be off a little bit more. They're trying to fight over the top and make sure that you stay on Cotton's hit, and you're going to be exposed for those back cuts. And just the guy in the corner, I know he's got a shooter in Blanchfield, but still needs to be able to help. Because when Cotton gets that easy too, you know that he sees that scoreboard ticking over personally, he becomes a hell of a lot harder to guard.
Seaver, step back, over Majuk, no good. Vic Law with the rebound. And if for a split second you take your eyes off Bryce Cotton, that's why this team is going to be so good so long for this particular season, because Vic Law has claims to be in the top 2 players in the league, and the guy who might be contending with him is his teammate and the superstar. And you relax for 1 second, Homicide, what happens? Cotton gives you back-to-back, and all of a sudden you're in a dogfight with the Wildcats, which no team wants to be in.
Don't forget Joe Luala-Chul, MVP of the league.
And don't forget Melbourne United. Cotton. The Sun got a hand on it. Shot clock's out to 7. We side out for the Wildcats. They've scored the last 4 points.
Have a look at that. Most points in a game. Vic Law and low 36s with 37.
Rich Creek with a 36-piece versus New Zealand. Let's not forget Delhi versus Illawarra.
Cotton, 3. Couldn't go, but who's on the offensive boards?
You hooked him, Vic. You hooked him with your right arm.
Referee explained it there. Vic Law disagreeing.
I don't know if he hooked him, but he certainly extended the arm. Look at the right arm of Vic Law. Just... Oh, there's the hook there. It was a little late there. Almost Abercrombie did the first of the hooking, and then the reaction from Vic Law, he got pinged.
Jing back in, hasn't played a great deal in the second half. Seaver. Abercrombie got it.
Well, they're coming off a 50% effort from the three-point line. 12 of 24 against the Adelaide 36ers. They're 12 of 28, so they've got another 12 three-point field goals made, and Jesse Wagstaff breaks the duck for the Perth Wildcats. 1 of 12 from the three-point line for them.
11 for Wagstaff. He's into double figures. Wetzel. Spins away from Wagstaff. Law with a great defense on the weak side.
Oh, that's just great weak side defense by Vic Law. Getting his hand on that ball, causing the turnover.
Law, mid-range, 2 points.
Just getting it done at both ends of the court. Vic Law.
Well, he's just given the bird to the analytics that are telling us that mid-range shouldn't be part of it. And there is a complete and utter defensive breakdown. Confused about whether they're switching or staying or whatever. Vic Law just been incredible from the mid-range.
Don't go anywhere, all tied up. 5 minutes to go.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
my goodness.
On the highlight package, Bryce Cotton goes, see ya, and it's a 3.
Well,
we got to check Abercrombie's ankles after that. That was bad.
Wetzel, Seaver, great pass. Seaver couldn't finish it over Travers. And now Cotton wants the push. And takes a little accidental slap.
At some point, you know he's going to come alive. Wow, he just shook him completely out of the screen. Oh, man. Man down. That was bad.
I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, no.
It's just a little too grippy at that part of the floor.
That was bad.
Stumbled, but that will be on the highlight reel.
Blanchfield. Over McDowell, White can't finish it. Yanni Wetzel's big night continues as he continues to clean glass. Rebound number 12.
That's only Todd Blanchfield's 3rd field goal attempt. 1 of 3 from the field. So he hasn't seen a lot of it.
Basson. 17 to 3rd, takes the bump. He'll go the foul line for 2.
He's an NBA player for me because he can shoot it, and he can shoot it from range, and you can see that he's also can put it to the deck. Here, uses an on-ball screen, and you know, in the NBA, this will sound silly, but it's sometimes even easier in the NBA to get to the rim because of the nature of the defense, the floor spread, and I think that just with that range and that beautiful stroke that he's got, that there's a role for him. And you can see how he could fit into the NBA, primarily because of his stroke and the way he can shoot the ball.
Wetzel gives him an opportunity. Basson lost it. Turnover. Number 9 for the Breakers. The Wildcats the same number. So both teams looked after the ball pretty well tonight.
And they're getting Basson and trying to get him into the action with the ball. I don't mind him, just move him off some screens a little bit first and try and get some separation with some movement before you get to those on balls. And Vic Law felt like he was fouled.
Pleads his case.
You throw your... He throws his head back, I'm not bailing him out.
McDowell White. 2-point Wildcat lead. 3.5 to go. Jeng, 3. No good. Long rebound. Run down by Cotton. And the superstar Bryce Cotton. What a pass. Law underneath. Wetzel's up to the task, though.
Great hands by Yanni.
Jeng, same spot. Different result. And the Breakers are back in front. No, they're not. I can't count. It's all tied up.
That's all right. It's
81 apiece. You spoke about it, Andrew Gaze.
Yep.
Their 3-point efficiency, 50% on Saturday night, was a huge reason as to why they got hold of the 36ers, and it's a big reason as to why they're back in this game after trailing by double digits in the third quarter.
It is, and they've had 29 goes at it, made 12, 41% from the three-point line, which is good. They are good numbers. And overall, they're 45%. And it's only been in the last couple of minutes that we've seen the Perth Wildcats hit a couple. Wagstaff with 1, Cotton only 1 of 6 from the three-point line, so 2 of 13, but they've been very disciplined of taking what the defense gives them. So they've only had 13 three-point field goal attempts.
Big thank you once again to all of our partners, sponsors and suppliers.
Well, here it is, Bryce Cotton, great pass, superstar to superstar, but met by a man who's having a really nice year when he's able to get on the floor, had some frustrations, then gets down to the next star, Usman Jeng, who looked every bit better every time we see him, Andrew Gaze.
Yes, he does, and he's confident out there, and I'd like to see him play through him, bring him off some picks. And speaking of those three-pointers, they're 2 of 13 for the Perth Wildcats. On the season, they average 30 three-point field goal attempts. So New Zealand Breakers have done a good job of slowing down from the three-point line. And there's a good job of making life difficult for Vic Law.
Seaver. Then my confusion lies. That Usman Jeng shot was only a 2, Drewy.
There you go.
Great spin, Wetzel met by Blanchfield, goes and gets his own ball. He's just a workhorse, gives him an opportunity, and leaves Basson open. And that man again says, give it to me again. To Basson, picks his moment, back in front of the Breakers.
Great hustle by Yanni Wetzel, keeping the boards alive, giving his team second and third chance opportunities. 16 rebounds in the contest, and another block. Wetzel.
Perfectly able to run it down.
That's good.
And snaffle it from Basson. It looked like it might have been. The referee says play on. But it's knocked away.
Hold on.
It's just great defense.
He's having a huge night, Yanni Wetzel.
Just day and night, the effort from the first half to the second half of this game.
Shot clock down to 8. Jeng wants a running start at Wagstaff, but unfortunately...
That's a foul, but you can see the confidence in this young fella. Every time he touches the ball, you see his intentions. Big Law. Delaney with the block. Yanni Wetzel, just a man amongst boys. That possession, coming up with 3 offensive rebounds, finds the cutter who finishes and has them up 2. And he has some beautiful wheels on his feet.
Wow. Basson did a good job because it was Vic Law who had to close out hard. He went flying by him and he didn't give up on the play. When Wetzel got it, he knew that Law was out of it, continued to cut, read the play beautifully, and a good find by Yanni Wetzel. Yanni Wetzel's had a really good game, but he's also left some out there. He's missed some shots that he'd normally make, 6 of 17, but he's got 16 boards.
Fantastic effort.
Last 7 points for the Breakers, and they lead by 4. Last away game of the regular season for the Perth Wildcats.
It's almost a must-score possession for the Wildcats.
And you know what? New Zealand, with that foul, are over the limit. Mitch Norton walks to the free throw line for 2.
He does, and they had Frazier on the last few minutes, and they eventually go back to Norton. A couple of big free throws coming up for Mitch.
First one is good. 9 points, couple of boards, throw 4 assists as well for this extremely good player for a long time. Big part of those championship teams. And we'll have a huge say on how deep Perth go this year, which a lot of people expect will be deep. 2 the difference. Seaver's had a nice night himself. Met by Bryce Cotton. Delaney right at Blanchfield, who looked like he didn't do a great deal wrong. Referee disagreed. And Finn Delaney earns himself a couple from 15 feet.
It's a great offensive set, well executed. Finn Delaney getting to the rack and gets fouled. Puts him right in a position where he gets the ball, he just turns the corner and attacks in a straight line. He got fouled.
He did. The angle that he was at.
What do you think? What do you think, HE?
No, I didn't think there was a whole lot in it. Not sure if we would have been jumping up and down if it wasn't called, but the benefit of the doubt this time goes to Delaney, and he's good enough to knock him down. Real test now for the Wildcats.
4-point lead. Norton met by Seaver. 1-on-1, takes a little bump, tries to float away. Referee says play on, and Yanni Wetzel will take the rebound. Number 17. And we're into the last 60 seconds, Homicide, and the Breakers with a 4-point lead.
Getting it done on the defensive end.
Seaver. Wetzel. Couldn't get it to go. Cotton, step back, 3, needs it, got it! As per, that's Bryce Cotton in a nutshell. Anytime the Wildcats need a big bucket, the superstar delivers. He's got 20, the lead is 1, and there's an 11-second difference between the shot and game clock. Seaver, Basson, couldn't let it to go. And with the shot clock off, the Wildcats have a chance to take the lead. Blanchfield, fouled. Seaver sends top Blanchfield to the line. 6.3 seconds on the clock.
Gaze, what you got, man?
Well, they haven't panicked, and they've been able to, when you've got this man on your team, anything is possible. The game is never over, and that is a tough shot. 1 of 6 before that one from the 3-point line, and there you see the foul.
He should have put that up.
Well, he's going to go to the line anyway.
Could have had a chance for the and one.
And that would have been nice, but you look at Todd Blanchfield and really been out of this one, and not by his own doing, just going elsewhere. He's only had 3 field goal attempts. He's an 84.2% shooter, free throw shooter on the season, but Yanni Wetzel has gone to another level with his rebounding, and any wonder this team had their issues when he was not in the lineup. They looked poor, but with him, he just transformed them because of the work on the boards. And as I mentioned a little while ago, he's actually missed a few that you'd normally expect him to make. When you've missed a few games, your touch not quite there, but still super aggressive with his 14 points on 6 of 18, 17 rebounds. And it's been an outstanding performance without Yanni Wetzel, and they would not be competitive in this game if it were not for the great work of Yanni Wetzel.
It's been a great game. Perth Wildcats with their last 9 at RSC Arena starting on Sunday. The Red Army can't wait to cheer on their superstars when they get back there. They have an opportunity here from the foul line to take the lead in their last away game of the regular season in a unique setting at MyState Bank Arena with no fans. Bryce Cotton just telling Scott Morrison, yeah, we're down, just give me the pill and I'll look after the rest.
That's just all class.
He never looks flustered, does he?
Never, ever looks flustered.
Always in control.
All of a sudden, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
It's a hell of a game. And what a luxury it is to have a guy of his capabilities.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
Blanchfield long, 6.8. You can see it all laid out for you. Blanchfield to try and tie it up.
16 of 19 on the season, now 16 of 20.
Oh, my goodness.
Both. Law got a hand to it, and it will go to the Breakers.
Confident on the court.
Wow.
Wow. It was a bonus to miss one. It was something extraordinary for Todd Blanchfield to miss 2. And just a little flat and a little long. Both of them almost identical misses. Not quite the arc. And didn't want to be short and overcooked it. Gee.
Breakers by a point and have the ball. Dan Shamir drawing it up. Hugo Basson. Bang. He was quiet until about 4 minutes to go into the third quarter, and he caught fire.
It's a beautiful stroke, the follow through, the extension, the coordination between the legs and the arms, the way he gets the rhythm into his shot. It's really nice, and he's 7 of 15, 5 of 10 from the three-point line. And that was a fun third quarter that we got to witness, where he dropped 17 of his 20.
6.3, a little bit of referee advice, of course. If the ball's not live before they foul, it will be an unsportsmanlike foul. So you've got to be mindful of that. You also have to be mindful of not overstepping the line after the Mitch Creek tech foul yesterday. Abercrombie to inbound. They have a 1-point lead. Wetzel, and there's the foul. Norton tried to get it.
Oh, he almost had it too.
He did.
And that was one where the pass was just a little hesitant. A quick pass, and Wetzel had the dunk, but just came a little late and allowed Norton to get over there. And, gee, it wasn't much of a foul. They call the foul, which is a bonus for the Perth Wildcats. Now, the Wildcats still have a timeout. So, make the first, and some may say, well, maybe you missed a second. I think 4.5 seconds is too much time. So you might as well go ahead and try and make them both, but he misses the first. Free throw shooting.
Here we go.
Wetzel. He's had a huge night. Makes it. Lead is 2. Timeout for the Wildcats. And now Scott Morrison is going to try and find a way to draw up a play to get the dub.
You'd expect that it's going to be an action with Law and Cotton with options for each. And this is the beauty of having these superstars that can perform in the crunch, that you can set up a play that has a number of options depending on how the defense plays it. And now it comes down to also, what does New Zealand Breakers do on the defensive end? You can, it's not unusual to see teams in these situations play a zone in these circumstances, but I suspect that they'll just play a man-to-man and look to switch homicide. But they've got two unbelievable options to go to.
I'm going pick and pop.
We don't have a lot of time, so an action straight off the inbound would be, but you do have time to get into an on-ball, but an action straight off the inbound.
Straight into it.
And
Cotton and Law.
And you just suspect that New Zealand, they're going to try and make sure we don't get beat on a 3 here. If we go to extra time, we're still in this. You don't want to concede the 2, but you don't want to overplay the 3-point line to the point where you're just going to give a cheapie for the 2 either.
Fraser comes in for the Wildcats. Blanchfield to inbound. Jean guards that pass, looks, Blanchfield looks, continues to look, has to get it in, gets a great pass to Law, who gets to where he wants to go, and he's done it all night, so we should not be surprised as they toss it in. Seaver has a shot from half court and overcooks it, and we got a little free basketball on a Monday night. Corey Homicide-Williams.
35 points. 15 of 21 from the field. You couldn't guard him one-on-one all game.
And
why would we expect any different, Gabe?
And they didn't go for the home ball. They didn't go for the win. They said, we'll go to our main man and give it to where he's been so efficient the entire night. 15 for 21, like you say, Homicide. And that is what he's been making all night. So they backed themselves to go to the overtime and play an extra 5 minutes. And that's what I'm talking about when you say, when you're pressuring out the 3-point line, a relatively easy catch for Vic Law in the low post.
But he makes it look so easy, Drew. I know it's not easy, but his ability to get to where he wants to go, he makes it look incredibly easy. Yanni Wetzel's had a huge night. We've spoken a great deal about that. And this is his early on. There was Vic Law who had the first couple of buckets of the Wildcats, and this is another one where he just ran straight around Wetzel and just laid it in. Seaver's been great as well. But 35 points for Vic Law, and he has done whatever he wants. And to be fair, he's been able to do whatever he wants all season, Andrew Gaze.
No, he has. Well, he had a period there where his scoring went off the ball, might have had a little injury, and teams were really keying in on him. And it's hard to do it for 28 games, but he's got a running mate that really, we see Thomas, you see the look of despair on Abercrombie there where he got shaken out of his shoes.
Man.
And you've got one of the great all-time closers in the competition in Bryce Cotton. He's got 20 points, but happy to play second fiddle at the offensive end because Vic Law's been so good with the 35, and they breathe a sigh of relief that they get the chance to go into overtime. An opportunity missed with Blanchfield missing those couple of free throws. That's what happens when you're a scorer. Even though he's a really good free throw shooter, he's had a quiet night. Only the 3 field goal attempts. You get into those circumstances and you're trying to contribute. Compounds the pressure, and he wasn't able to knock those free throws down. In fact, I think Perth would feel pretty fortunate to be in this overtime situation.
You better believe it. Todd Blanchfield owes Vic Law some lunch. Something. Bail him out. That's what teammates are for. Bryce Cotton's on triple-double watch.
He is now.
Quietly. 5 more minutes, he can get it. 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
Law, Norton, Cotton, Blanchfield, and Majuk for the Wildcats. Seaver, Delaney, Wetzel, the Abercrombie, and Basson. Extra 5 minutes. Abercrombie got it. Great pass, Hugo Basson. Abercrombie nails it to open. Free basketball on a Monday night. He's got 9 on the evening.
It's been so long since we've seen New Zealand fully loaded. We forgot how talented this team actually is.
Majuk shook up away from the ball. Great move, Vic Law. Vin Delaney wants a hook. Majuk got the accidental hit in the face on the weak side. Vic Law scored. There is Majuk who's trying to stretch out that jaw. Well,
they've got Travis coming in, and he was set to come in, and as is Wagstaff. So I suspect that they're going to go back to that small ball lineup. As Majouk's hurt, they've got no choice.
Wetzel. Abercrombie, same spot. Different result here. Vic Law, that's the same result. He just takes whatever he wants all night. 7 boards to go with 37, which was the equal high score NBL22, which he had. He's now equaled it.
Wow.
And this man, Bryce Cotton, is the superstar that we know. Little hesitation at the 3-point line. Gets deep into the key. Gets a push in the back. Finishes the floater. Perth are in front. 1 to come.
You can't guard a guy like that. You just can't. That hesitation we see both players collide. Majuka hits in the face, but coming off that screen, whoop, freezes you with that hesitation. And he's coming off so hard, you have to bite.
And he made a really hard shot look pretty easy. Oh my goodness, now Bryce Cotton is having problems from the free throw line. They still had the lead, but that is unusual.
Wildcats by a point. Majuk gets checked over. Ooh. And there's the spot.
If you've got a challenge, you can challenge it, but only under 2 minutes.
Explanation from the referee. Seaver. Wetzel right at Law. 2 stars going at it. And now Law will push the other way. And hand it off to his running mate, Bryce Cotton.
Another one of those examples where you should normally expect Wetzel to be able to finish that. Down on the block, they leave him one-on-one. That has proved to be a bad formula. Vic Law, one-on-one, has had his way with whoever is guarding him.
Highest score of NBL22 now with 39. He also has the second highest with 37. Here's Wetzel. Down 3, needs something. Seaver, shot clock at 3, he's got to let it fly. And that, right back at the Wildcats. We're tied at 94.
Hayden Seaver, 19 points, 3 of 8 from the 3. That one ties it up. Oh, mid-range master. You better put a hand up. This is a bucket waiting to happen.
Law.
It's still a bucket waiting to happen.
There's shot clock at 4. Cotton just stops on a dime. Can't get it to go.
Good stop. New Zealand.
It's easier said than done, but Abercrombie or whoever's guarding Vic Law has got to do a better job trying to deny the ball. Rely on some over-the-top help, but he's catching in these preferred positions.
Basson, lazy pass, tried to bounce at the Wetzel, and it leads to Travers, to Cotton. He had Cotton on his left. He had Law on his right. And an embarrassment of Richards in a fast break, homicide at Leeds. So a Cotton layup and the lead is 2.
A nightmare to any defensive team in transition. That trio.
Abercrombie has one already in overtime. Make that 2. And this fun night of basketball continues. It's the Breakers by a point. He's got 12, all from beyond the arc. Cotton, guarded by Wetzel. Got it. I got no words.
All class.
Well, when you're switching, it's always going to be hard for Yanni Wetzel when he switched on to Bryce Cotton. And
27, 8 and 8. Bryce Cotton's stat line.
Wetzel powers up over, wags up with the left.
Yanni Wetzel, 17 and 18. Vic Law, 39 points. The Stars have come to play.
Again, the
all
switch.
the way, Cotton.
Oh my goodness.
Uses the left.
But just they're switching on that, and they're letting their stars, they're letting Law and Cotton beat them. Make someone else beat you. You know, got a hard show or do something to just allow Cotton to go at Wetzel like that. He's going to win that battle most times.
Basson, Delaney turned down the 3, kicks it out.
Oh,
Basson for the lead.
He's up to 23, 6 of 11 from the 3.
1 point Breaker lead.
Oh man, this is on the island. This is not going well.
Cotton stops over Wetzel. Can't give the lead back to them. And the shot clock difference is about 6.5 seconds. The Breakers have a 1 point lead and Peyton Seaver has the ball.
There's no foul, so they can't. There's no point in fouling now. They're going to have to foul 3 times to send him to the line.
Seaver. Delaney. Cotton with the ball. Shot. Is that 5? No shot clock. Cotton for the win.
Oh my goodness.
A 4 point play to win the game.
Bryce Time, the greatest import to ever play in the NBL.
Settle down, Homicide.
The greatest import to ever play in the NBL.
Well, one that's certainly been very good in the clutch.
Oh my goodness. Gaze.
Talk this through at Andrew Gaze.
Well, here it is. He pulls up and Wetzel goes by him. Gets called for the foul. Not sure he actually... Don't think... Yeah, it's with the body.
He got him.
No doubt about that.
Oh my goodness.
Little genius.
Now,
Oh man.
1.3 put back on the clock, so a little extra time. A 4-point play to possibly win the game. They're last on the road in the regular season.
This is one where you might want to consider missing this because they do have a timeout left.
He's done exactly that. Wetzel, three-quarter court. That's a little shot. And the Perth Wildcats escape My State Bank Arena against an incredibly courageous New Zealand Breakers. It takes a Bryce Cotton masterpiece in overtime to send them home for their last 9 games with a W.
Well,
that could not be any more fun, Andrew Gaze.
We've seen one of the better games of the season, and it comes with a team that has had all sorts of problems. They're second last on the table, but they get their players back, and you can see how dangerous they can be. Hard to go past Vic Law with 39 points, but gee whiz, did Bryce Cotton in overtime make that a tougher decision than we thought it was going to be. 17 of 23 for Vic Law. He's got the 7 boards as well. But Bryce Cotton, 12 of 24, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Actually, I reckon we might need to... That is hard, but I think throughout the course of the game, there were times when Vic Law, if it was not for Vic Law, we don't get to overtime. So it was a great performance by him. And unfortunately for the New Zealand Breakers, they did what you've got to try not to let the other team do, and that is have Cotton or Law beat you. They weren't able to get the ball out of their hands in overtime, and as such, the Perth Wildcats get the W by 2 in spectacular fashion.
We'll wrap it up. But Andrew Gaze gets his breath back next. What a Monday night. Hungry Jack's highlights, and we've got plenty of them. Let's have a look at overtime. Seaver was great. He was really good. Luke Travers, which way did he go? Well, he's got Cotton one way, Law the other. Abercrombie hit a couple of threes in overtime. And just when you thought New Zealand were going to get it done, they had no answer for this man in the last 5 minutes. Hugo Besson put the Breakers back in front. We're under 60 seconds. And that, if you just joined us, you missed one of the games of the year, is the game winner. A dribble down three from Bryce Cotton. He got fouled. He intentionally missed the foul shot, or at least it looked like it.
No, he did.
And in the end, yeah, he did. I'm with Andrew.
No, he did. And it's extraordinary that when you look at this team, that was Bryce Cotton and Vic Law. We can't speak more highly of them, but we've got to pay respect to the New Zealand Breakers for what they've been through this season. They went blow to blow with one of the best teams in the competition and really were unlucky to not win. And they'll go back and they'll think of some moments in that game. They had fouls to give in that last minute, and don't let Bryce Cotton get on that roll to come down and knock it down. But they had 72 field goal attempts. 47 of those field goal attempts, the Perth Wildcats, come at the hand of either Cotton at Law. They dominated this one, and the rest of the Perth Wildcats did enough to provide that support cast around the two of them. But hats off to Yanni Wetzel, 19 rebounds, 17 points. Seaver did a good job for his 19 points, and Abercrombie with the 12. But well done to the Perth Wildcats and the New Zealand Breakers for giving us one of the games of the season.
Amy Ladder, as you have a look at it, Perth with the big win, now go into second, or we're there already. Sydney third, Southeast Melbourne, Phoenix and Illawarra to go at it to kickstart a Thursday night. That is a big win, Homicide, so we can't wait for it. What's going to happen in the next couple of weeks?
This is a scary team. They have 9 home games to finish out NBL22 at home. I would hate to face the Perth Wildcats.
Vic Law, 39. Bryce Cotton, 32, a near triple-double. Besson went nuts. Seaver was good. Wetzel was a workhorse. One of the games of NBL22 on a Monday night. And now we look forward to Thursday when the next week begins. Andrew, Corey, thank you.
Been a pleasure.
See ya.
Well done.
I'm a man with no fear. I think like I'm a shark. The way I move so sharp.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
No. Only 2 guys scored.
Bryce Cotton and Scott Morrison here. Jackson, if you want to go first.
Well, what a game. Scott, tonight was a game of first for you. First time playing New Zealand, first time playing in the NBL without a crowd, first overtime and first Bryce Cotton game winner. What are your emotions right now?
I guess just relief, mainly. It was a great game. I'm guessing it was a great game to watch from a fan's perspective. Lots of big shots on both sides. Both teams were out there battling. From a coach's perspective, I'm sure Coach Shamir is saying the same thing. Like, there's a lot of defensive things that could be cleaned up. But the nice thing for us is we were able to hit the last shot, and credit to this guy beside me and Vic and the other guys for really stepping up and just hanging in there.
And Bryce, for you, we've seen this countless numbers of times, but pretty special performance from you and Vic tonight and the whole team.
Yeah, I think for the most part we did a pretty good job sticking to the scout, but obviously when we didn't, they made us pay. They made some big-time shots and players got hot, but I think we weathered the storm, and yeah, luckily we made some big shots as well. But it's good to have games like this, especially heading into the latter part of the season, and it's a little bit better when you can have games like this and learn on a winning note.
You finally play a home game after 3 months on the road, and after this win, I think the energy will be high flying back to Perth. How excited are you to returning to ROC Arena?
Yeah, very excited. I think I'm just more excited I don't have to worry about being in an airport for the next month and a half or so. But basketball is basketball, whether it's a road game or home game. But I think we did a pretty good job. Our time on the road could have been a little bit better, but it is what it is, and now we got to focus on what's ahead.
And Scott, for you, you'll finally be able to get into a bit of a routine now, I guess. There was a quote you said a couple of weeks ago. You said that I've been in Tasmania for 9 weeks and I've only been in Perth for 4. What is this going to mean for you returning home and not travelling for so much?
Just means a lot for family, family reasons especially. My wife and a lot of the guys' wives and partners have carried the load for those of us that have children. Tough task, and I think we just owe them some time as best we can provide alongside of our work and preparing for the next games. But we have at least 1 day off before we get going again, so just to kind of refresh mentally and help them out a little bit will be great. It's everyone knows this is our job out here, and you gotta work with what you have, but it's hard to not feel a little bit guilty for being away so long. I'm sure the other guys feel that way. I'm sure the New Zealand guys feel that way even more than we do.
Steve Barrett. Scott, you touched on some of the defensive lapses, which I guess caused you some frustration during the game. Was that specifically referring to the third quarter when Hugo got behind you a little bit and just sort of got under your guard, so to speak?
Well, you got to give him credit. He got going on himself. I think, 2 examples for me were I thought we had some cheap fouls. We've done a pretty good job showing our hands. It's a really physical league, but the refs will get you when you put your hands on people. So we had some cheap fouls in the first half, put them on the line. There was one out at midcourt that I recall specifically, And then in the second half, just their corner threes. I mean, they were moving the ball well. They were attacking really well and put us on our heels. But there was a couple times I thought we could have did a bit better job getting closed out to the corner. But at the end of the day, they kicked our butts for a good stretch of that game, so we were lucky to hit enough shots to be in it.
And just one more for me for you, Bryce. When Finn Delaney misses that 3 with sort of 7 or 8 seconds to go, you grab the defensive rebound, take it from there. Was it feel good out the hand? You just had to rush it forward and hit it from the top?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. In situations like that, that's when you feel the least pressure because you have no choice but to shoot it, and coach can't really get mad for once. So I just took the shot, and yeah, luckily I was able to drop.
Craig. Yeah, Bryce, on that, most of those other shots you talk about to win games have been, you've had time to talk about in a timeout or something like that. This was a really different situation. So how did that change how you were thinking at the time, knowing you had to get through players and get full court?
I was just reading and reacting, trying to find an open spot on the floor, and I was looking and anticipating a double, but it didn't happen. I think there was some miscommunication. So once that happened and I saw a pathway, my eyes lit up, and yeah, I just wanted to take my time and follow through.
So once you got the ball, were you intent on getting that shot straight away because you knew, looking at the court, that was your best option, taking it down the court yourself and having the shot, rather than looking for someone that might have been, if there was anyone even in a position past it?
No, I mean, I felt like I only saw New Zealand players, and yeah, like it was just reading and reacting. I didn't know what I was going to do as soon as I got the ball, but like I said, it was reading and reacting. Once I saw that space open up, it's like a 0.5-second decision, and you just got to live with the result, miss or make.
How tough was that, Scott, for him to anyone to be able to do that, get the defensive rebound, get it length to the court, make the shot, get through the traffic? How hard is that?
Well, I couldn't do it, so I couldn't really tell you. But as a coach, I think at least I think, everyone has a different opinion, but I think it's better to just let it go and let the guys attack without stopping the play with a timeout. In these rules, you can't stop it sometimes if they miss a free throw or miss a shot. Obviously, in the NBA, you can call timeout in that situation and get your play set up, but at the same time, that gives the defense a chance to get set. And Bryce just referenced that he thought there might have been a little miscommunication on their part, which is understandable. When he's flying at you with 5 seconds left in the game, it's tough to get your defense set. So you just trust your best guys. If you're drawing up a play, or you're just trying to get the ball in the best player's hands anyway. So we accomplished that with the rebound, and we had luck on our side for that part of the game.
And Scott, can you talk about Vic Law's performance tonight? He's in some unbelievable nick at the moment. Like, can you talk about what his effort was like, what he was able to do tonight?
He was great. I mean, he carried us for a good stretch of the game. New Zealand did a really good job making it tough for us to get our usual looks. I think we didn't hit a three till late in the third quarter, if not the fourth quarter, which for us, that's got to be a first for the season. We're usually getting those drive and kick threes or pick and roll threes. So they had a great game plan. They executed it, and I think the only reason we won is because we had two guys that hit some crazy clutch shots, and I'll take it, but we got to be better next week.
And just finally for me, Bryce, 9-5 is your record on the road now, which in a 28-game season it equals the club's record for the best performance on the road. You've been part of some 8 and 6 seasons where you've gone really well. 9-5 after 14 games on the road in a row. How satisfying and proud are you of the team?
I don't know if satisfying is the word. It's definitely a great job, but we spoke about it in the locker room. As good of a position I guess we put ourselves in, there were still some other games on the road that we probably could have stole. So it's good, but it shows a testament that, even though we haven't quite reached our peak, how much better we can be. So hopefully we can carry this momentum with this week-long stretch that we had the last 3 or 4 games into the last 9 at home.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good night. You guys mind if you just take this out to the hallway and we can back it up? Is this the best way to go? Yeah.
Here you go. Hugo Besson and Dan Shamir. Roy, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Coach, can you just give us your thoughts on that game and how crazy up and down it was between your two teams?
Yeah, I think that objectively it was a great game, and I'm sure that anybody who watched it, although the atmosphere doesn't allow it in an empty gym, but basketball-wise it was a great game to watch. Disappointing loss for us. Obviously, we're disappointed, but we fought, we made shots. The beginning was a little slow. Then we played some good basketball. Left everything on the floor. They made one more big play at the end, and they get the W. But overall, you know, you can't complain when you do everything you can.
What's your thoughts on how your team handled the overtime tonight? You had Abercrombie give you some big shots. As you said, you got real close to that last shot at the end.
Yeah, it was also the overtime was a very high score. So it ended 16-14 in 5 minutes. So the tempo was good, and both teams were close the whole way. And games like that obviously are decided on very small things and very big plays done by players. And tonight, Bryce Cotton did it again.
Hugo, that third quarter, what started working for you? What sort of changed when you sort of got going offensively in that quarter?
I started the game a bit soft, so at halftime I knew I had to step up my level. So I just played my game, you know, made some shots. That's my game, and you know, I had to step up to help the team to, you know, fight against a great team. So yeah, I just did my job and tried to help.
How do you handle a game where you miss a few shots at the start like you did? How do you keep confidence, keep belief, and then turn on your shooting like you did in that third quarter?
Yeah, and I never really lose confidence. You know, it's just basketball. You made some shots, you missed some shots. I started bad, but I was just halftime. You know, there were 20 minutes left, so I just kept going and trying to do my best, as I said, to help the team and to play at my level.
And what was it like for your team tonight to be so close to getting this big win and then have it taken away right at the end?
For us, that's a tough loss, but we know we have a big level now. We are able to go to overtime and lose by 2 against a really great team. So it shows that we are working really well and we are going in the right way.
Stephen. Dan, Bryce was in the chair just a couple of seconds ago, Bryce Cotton, and he was anticipating a double team in those last few seconds, and he thought there was a miscommunication from the Breakers' end. How did you read those last few seconds, and was there anything you could have done differently there?
Yeah, if I was Bryce Cotton, I would focus on the nice shot that I made, and wouldn't coach the opponent team. And yeah, we look at it. You know, these are again the small things in the game that potentially you can do better and impact it in a way. But in basketball, anything you do, you pay a price. So you help. You can give a cut for a layup. On everything, you are not helping. You're giving one-on-one situations with a lot of gaps. Everything is a trade-off, and I will look at it, but this is not a very organized situation in the game, so let's just give him the credit for making a big play.
Sure, and just with the way Vic and Bryce both got off the chain tonight, they had 47 shot attempts between them. I know hindsight's wonderful, but is there anything you feel like you could have done differently to sort of deny them more over the course of the journey?
Again, you give something and you take something else. This is a team that normally shoots the ball very well, leads the league in three-point shooting percentage, and the #1 offense in the league. 2 great players really run the show. You know that on a daily basis, before this game, now it's going to go up. Cotton averaged 18 shots and Law averaged 16 shots. So today they got 48 shots, and it's special. I think they're playing their talent, and normally they can also get the whole team going with just spraying the ball and getting everybody open looks, and this is where they really look great. So it's again a trade-off between helping and you have to be very smart with how you help against these guys. And Vic Lowe made a lot of mid-range shots. Okay, he's a great player. Made a lot of pull-ups and turnaround shots and stuff like that. We started quite poorly, and we kind of took control of the game when we didn't give him cheap things like slips and cuts for layups. Not happy with the result. We definitely have to and can defend better. But again, credit to these two guys who average together 43 points together the whole season, play heavy minutes, and they got us also.
Anyone else? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bad luck, guys. Thought he's had it.
What is this? What is this? Who was this idiot?